So let's start doing some polynomial operations. In this one, we'll be adding and subtracting. And the big thing to remember when you're adding and subtracting polynomials is to combine like terms. Okay, so we see in our first one, we're taking the quadratic trinomial, 7y squared plus 2y minus 3, and we're adding to that 2 minus 4y plus 5y squared. Okay, so when I'm combining like terms, since I'm adding these together, there's nothing for me to distribute. So I'm just going to combine like terms. I've got 7y squared plus 5y squared. So that's going to give me 12y squared. Next up, we've got 2y plus negative 4y. So 2y plus negative 4y, that's going to give me minus 2y. And then for our last one, we got negative 3 plus 2. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. So there we get that. This is a quadratic trinomial. Because the exponent, the degree is 2, and there are 3 terms. So it's quadratic trinomial. Right? In B, we are subtracting a polynomial from another one. So what's the really important thing that I got to remember to do here is this is a minus 1 that I have to distribute across everything inside the parentheses because I'm subtracting that whole second quantity from the first one. So this is going to become 6y squared plus 8y to the fourth minus 5y minus 9y to the fourth plus 7y minus 2y squared because I'm distributing that negative sign. Okay? Distribute the negative. Very important, easy to forget. Now, let's combine like terms. So we get 6y squared minus 2y squared. So that's going to give me 4y squared. So that's gone. Next up, we've got 8y to the fourth minus 9y to the fourth. So that's going to give me minus 1y to the fourth. And then we've got negative 5y plus 7y. So negative 5y plus 7y, that's going to give me positive 2y. Okay, so from here, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to write this in standard form. All right, so I got to do negative y to the fourth plus 4y squared plus 2y. All right, so then this is a quartic trinomial. We always like to write our answers in that standard form. So remember, standard form is written in order from greatest to least degree. So that's why it goes, notice the exponent here is 4, 2, 1. All right, so that's from greatest to least degree. All right, a word problem. From 2006 through 2016, the number of dogs and the number of cats adopted from animal shelters in the Chicagoland area are modeled by these two equations. All right. N represents the number of years since 2006. That's important to know. We might come back to that in a little bit. Write a function that models the total number of dogs and cats for this time period. All right, so what do I got to do with these two expressions? I got to add them together. If I'm trying to figure out the total amount, I'm going to take the number of dogs and the number of cats, and I'm going to add them together. So the total is going to be dogs plus cats. So 2n plus 3 plus n plus 4. And that's going to give me 3n plus 7 because I can combine my like terms. So there we have our function to represent the total. Now we're trying to say if this trend were to continue, how many dogs and cats will be adopted in 2020? Well, notice, n represents the number of years since 2006. And if we're in 2020, n's going to be 14 because it's been 14 years since 2006. So I'm going to take that value of 14 and I'm going to plug it in for n. So I get 3 times 14 plus 7, which is 49. And then this number is in hundreds. All right, so if I multiply this by 100, I'll get 4,900 dogs and cats will be adopted in 2020. So that's a bad one. All right, so a little application problem there for you. Adding the two polynomial expressions together, and then using our new polynomial to answer a word problem. Okay, so a couple big things to remember there, or a couple key things to note, is that the n represents the years since 2006, and your output is in hundreds, so 4,900 cats and dogs. Alrighty, so that's adding and subtracting. The big thing is combining like terms. And the big thing with subtracting is to make sure you distribute the negative. So I've got some you try nows here for you. First one is just classify the following polynomials using that vocab. And the second one is practicing to make sure you remember to distribute that negative. Try those, we'll go over them in class. And then we will move on to multiplying polynomials, the next polynomial operation. Have a good one.